Hey guys, I'm Janet, on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. So, I know, I've not been getting many out this week. I've been ill as hell. So, yeah, it's been a real struggle. Luckily, though, a subscriber has come to the rescue. I've been sent this replay by Stefan Hansen. He's playing as MrTuc, his gamer tag, and yeah, he's playing as the Wood Elves, and it's a great match. So, I'm going to cast this, because I barely got anything else to cast at the moment. So, yeah, it should hopefully fill some time for you guys, and it is a great match. So yeah, why the hell not, right? So so thanks, Stefan. Really good of you to send this in. And so let's go over his build. So you can see he's got War Dance in the front line. He's against the Greenskins, so much like that replay I played the other day. These guys perform really well against the Greenskins. Also, he's got some Eternal Guard in here, which you know, they have a bit more staying power, which is always good fun. So these guys will stay in the fight a little bit longer than the War Dancers, but they won't get as much damage in. But you know, it's a good trade, to be honest. So you can see 2 units have shields, but this one does not. So he's got some missile resistance on the sides, which will be good, you know, nice, useful. But of course, the missiles are mainly going to be going for the War Dancers if you know, if the other guys got any sense, because you want to kill these guys quickly, and missiles, best way to do it. So also you can see he's got a Branch Wraith, so this guy will give +8 melee attack to people around him, and he's also got Law of Life and Law of Shadows, which are 2 of the best laws, I think. So really fantastic. Love the Branch Wraith, and good melee fighter. You know, they're not going to get taken down quickly like a Spellsinger. Also, he's got Orion. We all know what Orion's like. He doesn't die. He just outright refuses. The Cloak of Isha gives him that regeneration when his health drops low, and it also gives him huge damage resistance. So it's pretty amazing. Orion's just such a trooper. So also he's got a Treeman. So Treeman, incredibly hard to take down for the Greenskins, I think. Really, you got to rely on the Rusty Arrows and just get as many, you know, missiles on him as possible. But of course, if he's firing at the Treeman, he's not going to be firing at the War Dancers. So pretty good. Also, you can see in the back he's got some Wild Riders, obviously just a must for any Wood Elf army. You know, just fantastic cavalry, you know, glass cannons. You charge them in, do a ton of damage and get them out of there. Right, don't leave them in sustained combat, don't let them get charged, keep them moving, and they will just perform fantastically. So, also, over here, you can see he's got 2 Glade Riders with Hagbane tips. These poison attacks be really good, and it's also good to get some good harass, and they're very hard to catch, they are very quick. And, you know, they don't perform too badly in melee, so if they get caught by, like, Wolf Riders or something, they can usually, you know, hold them off. At the very least, hold them off anyway. So, also, he's got Sisters of Thorn. So, pretty much everyone is just advertising how great the Sisters of Thorn are at the moment. I like to think I had something to do with that. But yeah, Sisters of Thorn, absolutely fantastic. So, you know, free spells. They get the Curse of Vanra here and the Shield of Thorns, just really good. And also magic melee attacks, that not magic melee, magic missile attacks, they're just really great. So let's have a look at the Greenskins. So, pretty unconventional, like no cavalry or anything, it's just all infantry, and a lot of it. So you can see in the front line he's got a load of goblins. So weirdly with 3 gold chevrons, I'm not sure it needed the chevrons, because the strength of these guys, as you can see, they have silver shields. So where it says armor, you see that shield? Yeah, that's 55% damage resistance. So that is huge. That is so good against the Wood Elves. Being able to have something that you can just sort of throw towards their archers and just absorb all that fire. Because they'll take, you know, a lot longer to kill than they otherwise would. Because the missile resistance, and also, who cares if they die? Right? They're goblins. They're so cheap. Maybe not with the 3 gold chevrons, but still, you know, they're just fodder. They can just waste ammunition. So they're absolutely fantastic. Also, behind the goblins, he's got a huge line of Orc Biggins. These guys, anti-large, but they have great melee stats. They're really good. Huge weapon damage, so 42 weapon strength, and then they've got 39 and 29 attack and defense, which is really good. Like, these guys will do a lot of damage to any, like, you know, front line, to be honest. So, against the Wood Elves that are all a bit squishy, that high weapon damage is going to do just a lot of harm. It's a really good idea, I think. A load of biggins, and then if they are getting charged by cavalry and things, they got that anti-large bonus to help fight them off. So they're really good. Really good. So I do love this sort of double front line of you know, missile resist and stomping power. Very cool. And in the back, now you don't often see this, it's all Night Goblin Archers, which at first I thought was a bit of a waste, but actually when you think about it, it's pretty great, because you're going to get outranged by the Wood Elves. But that doesn't matter, because these guys have got Stalk. So they're not going to get spotted until they start firing at things, which means they can get close enough to be firing at, you know, valuable targets before they get spotted and killed. So I think it's actually really good. So yeah, having archers with Stalk, it really helps negate the range sort of, you know, difference between, you know, you and the other faction. So yeah, missile units with Stalk, good idea. Also, in here you can see he's got a Goblin Big Boss. These guys really cheap. To be honest, they cost like 500 if you don't bring what's it called? I can't remember what it's called now. They have an ability which gives them like melee defense and speed, but yeah, oh, slippery, that's what it is. Without that, they're 500 quid, just putting, you know, Goblin Big Boss on a spider. And you get poison attacks, they're really nice and quick, they've got some alright weapon strength, you know, pretty good melee stats. They're just very good for throwing at a sort of a hero, just to poison them, slow them down when you come in with something big, like Grimgor here. So Grimgor, probably the best pick to fight Orion with, because he will just beat the crap out of Orion. He's one of the only lords that can just hit hard, you know, consistently. So he's going to be really good. He's going to be really good at taking out Orion, so that's great. So definitely worthwhile. Though he can get singled out by, you know, sort of ranged units and things. You've got to be a bit careful. But of course, if he's just amongst all of this nonsense, then it's going to be hard to sort of, you know, to sort of single him out. So really good. Also, he's got an Orc Shaman. Now, he's actually got a spell I wouldn't normally bring. He's got Brainbuster. So you can see here, Brainbuster. So it's rubbed against armor, but you don't need armor against the Wood Elves. So it's basically just a cheap spell he can spam on the front line. It's going to do a ton of damage to War Dancers. Really useful. So, let's just speed things up, shall we? It's been long enough. So, you can see here, really good move. So these Hagbane tips, they are doing some damage to the Orc Biggins. Obviously, you can see the Goblins are taking a bit of fire as well, which is exactly what the Greenskin player wants. But these Biggins are definitely just good to take out in melee. They don't have shields, so you can get a lot of that damage in. They don't have that much armor either, only 50. So yeah, a lot of the missile damage will register. So it's really useful. So here you can see Brainbuster comes down, and it actually does a quarter of a unit of damage. I mean, that is huge. That is really good. So you can see Stefan sending all his guys in, slightly staggered, which I think is a bit of a shame. If he had something like Penduntral Pendulum, sending everything in a big line, he can capitalise on that much better than any Greenskins can. So anyway, so he's charging in. And here you can see he's getting some good damage on the side of this, you know, these Orc Biggins. So that's nice. But you can see his Wild Riders far too far back. He needs to bring these guys around now. He needs to get some rear charges, deal with these archers. You can see no Biggins have been left in reserve to defend these archers. And you can see the archers are starting to get a bit of damage on the treeman, but I think I would have probably left the treeman for a while, because it can't attack that quickly, you know. It will do a lot of damage over the course of a battle, but I think you're better just to take out the War Dancers, because once the War Dancers are dead, your whole front line is just going to completely overwhelm the enemy. So here you can see the cavalry is coming around now. The goblins already been taken care of, obviously. They're not going to hold up against War Dancers. So you see this flank is doing well for the Wood Elves, and this flank is doing pretty well for the Greenskins. But, you know, with the help of the Treemen, this should hold a lot better than if it was just the infantry. Because, yeah, there's not a lot of Elven infantry here. In the middle here, there was a lot of strength. Those War Dancers did break. But luckily the Branch Wraith is helping. There's, you know, Earthblood, Shield of Thorns coming down, try and help, you know, get some more damage in. And you can see now all the cavalry is starting to get on these archers, which is great, especially considering how much damage the Treeman has taken, you know, in that time. So yeah, pretty bad actually for the Elven front line here. A lot of the War Dance starting to break because, like I said, you know, those Orc Biggins, they do a ton of damage. So yeah, you don't want that with a glass cannon. So pretty tough. And especially with all the cheap goblins sort of taking hits for them, it's pretty huge. We can see Wild Riders, yeah, they've just broken 2 units of archers in the time it took for, you know, these Hagbane tips to take out 1. It's pretty crazy. Well, actually about half the time it took them to take out 1 unit. So absolutely amazing. So yeah, Wild Riders are great. Here though, check that out. Orion is getting absolutely destroyed, just as I predicted. Grimgor, fantastic here. Luckily, you know, Curse of Anra here is coming down, debuffing these guys, which is really good. More free spells from you know, from the Sisters of Thorn, really good. But you can see a load of the Greenskins are starting to break now. You know, Terror is going to be hitting from Orion. And speaking of that, with Cloak of Isha procced, he's not going to be able to get taken down by any of these units. He needs to just charge in here, get that Terror, get that heavy damage, and start, you know, dealing with these guys. If he can start trimming all of these, like, you know, other units that are knocking around, it means that he'll be able to just gang up on Grimgor with everything he has left later. So this would be really helping out his cavalry and what's left of his Eternal Guard. If he got Orion in this fight, he doesn't have to be afraid of units like this. He can just charge in and start cleaning house. Because yeah, Orion, with that regeneration and the physical resist he gets when he's got low health, he'll be on low health forever, and it won't matter. He'll never drop any lower than that. So just get him in there, start smashing things. So you can see the Treeman now is fighting Grimgor. Grimgor will actually do great against the Treeman. War has been procced, so all these Orc Biggins are going to be doing a lot of damage. They're going to be hitting a lot. So pretty scary. But you can see a lot of the cavalry is trying to finish off, you know, a lot of these like stragglers. But yeah, oh, and also the Shaman, which is good. But I think he needs to work a little harder to deal with these guys. He should have had Orion deal with this blob while he still had a Spearman. because now this side has been overwhelmed and he's having to throw his cavalry to try and slow them down. Obviously sending cavalry into big uns, that is tough, that is not good for the cavalry. But here, this is more like it. So the Wild Riders now are charging through all of these archers. It's just going to do a ton of damage, and it's going to stop these guys getting any value. Because you can see they are trying to shoot at the other cavalry, because the greenskin player knows that the cavalry is where he's going to lose the match. He needs to deal with them. So, and also what I find novel is the goblins, even with their little spear icons, they don't have anti-large. They're not proper spearmen. They just carry little tiny rubbish spears, and that's just so they have a bit more reach, because they're cowards. But they don't actually have anti-large at all. So don't be afraid if you see, you know, that icon to charge them with cavalry. You'll just smash straight through them. So here, yep, you can see a lot of these guys getting dealt with. Now some units start to shatter, which is fantastic. So I've got some Hagbane tips coming back. But you can see here, this treatment is just getting slowly worn down. But I mean, Grimgor is taking a fair bit of damage from all this. You know, the Branch Wraith is helping. It's pretty good. But yeah, Grimgor, absolute powerhouse. He is an absolute monster. So, yep, so in the back, see the Glade Riders, you know, the Wild Riders still just dealing with all these guys in the back line. It's really good. That's definitely what you want to do. Just, you know, get as many kills with all those sort of superfluous units while your front is holding, you know, without them. It just stops reinforcements coming, basically. Because think of it like that, you know, guys run away with the greenskins, but they inevitably come back. And they'll come back in huge numbers. And you don't want, like, suddenly, you know, hundreds of orcs coming back as reinforcements in a, you know, in a fight that's this close. So, yeah, you definitely want to use your cavalry just to keep hitting them and, you know, breaking them one unit at a time so they can't blob up and do real damage. So you can see the treatment actually broke. So, yeah, Grimgor, real difficulty here, taking out Grimgor. I mean, he's got a lot less damage, but you can see he's doing a ton to Orion. He's one of the only people who can actually just damage Orion quicker than he can heal. And you can see he is getting close to his healing cap. So, pretty scary. But you'll see here, Stefan does, well, MrTuc in this case, he does actually move Orion too far away, in my opinion. He can leave Orion closer, just to keep that terror and keep that leadership buff for his own units, but he's straying a bit too far from the rest of his guys, I think. Because, yeah, you can still get a lot of value out of Orion without him actually being in the fight. As long as he's nearby, they'll get terrified. So, that's really useful. So here you can see the Sisters of the Thorn. They've got Shield of Thorns on them, so this charge will be really deadly. But look how much stuff has come back. Because unfortunately, a lot of the fleeing guys did manage to come back. He's doing pretty well with the Wild Riders, you know, dealing with a lot of them. But still, there's just so many greenskins to deal with. So here you can see the Curse of Vandra here came in as well, which just stops them doing a lot of damage. So now the Glass Cannon War Dancers can come in and feel a little bit safer. And they will get a lot more damage in before, you know, Curse of Vandra here stops, you know, benefiting them. So yeah, pretty clutch move. And again, free spell, no Winds of Magic. That's just the Sisters of the Thorn doing things. It's great. Actually, is that the Sisters of the Thorn? No, yes, that is. That's the Wild Riders. They look quite similar with the little, you know, sort of lasers all over them. They're very strange looking. Anyway, so you can see Orion fighting Grimgor again. Grimgor is getting really damaged. So here, this is a good position just to run away, right? You want to sort of cycle charge with Orion, so he can just keep healing, because he can take, like, you know, a couple of hits from Grimgor. Any more than that, he's just going to get killed. So here, more cavalry charging from one side. These guys are all fighting on the other. Though unfortunately, it looks like the yeah, looks like those War Dancers are gone. So that's not ideal. So real atrocious match right now. So you can see, you know, more cavalry coming in. It's just the way to do it. You just got to keep cycle charging. But I think some of these cavalry might be better spent, sort of, you know, finishing off a lot of these other units, because it'll help army losses trigger. And so you could actually win this fight without fighting it, honestly, if you just mop up everything that's left. So it'd be pretty useful. So yeah, you can see here, and that's exactly what he's doing. So he, you know, charges in here, does some damage, and then when he wants to get them out, he just cycle charges into the next thing, which is great. So just yo-yo between, you know, different units. You can just keep getting charges off with your cavalry. So well played there. So now you can see Branch Wraith is in real trouble here. He's fighting the Orc Shaman and Grimgor. That is not what you want. But luckily, Grimgor, he can get sort of bullied by cavalry. He will get knocked flat a lot. So that's always a good thing to do with these cycle charges. Just keep him on the ground. Although, it looks like he is resisting it at the moment, which is very scary. Very scary indeed. So, but, you know, they're getting worn down. They're getting worn down. It's still, you know, very few big, and Stand Your Ground has been procced, which is actually going to help a lot. That's really going to help the greenskins out. So, pretty scary. So you can see War Dancers are coming back in from the rear. Orion's going to have to run away a bit here, because he doesn't want to get charged by all this. So he's going to start jogging. You know, classic Orion. Branch Wraith is going to be coming back, which is great. You'll see in a second he will actually use another Earthblood to get these guys some more health. which obviously won't, give them any more unit models, but it will give the unit models they have a little bit more health, so they'll be able to sustain a couple more hits before they start losing more guys. So that's going to be really useful in, such a close engagement. So here, luckily, you can see they're kind of positioned in a line, and Grimgor is on the edge, so they can just charge the edge, knock him flat, and begin to charge through the rest of them. So very useful. It was very good that Grimgor sat on his own like that. Now Orion is coming in, hopefully, with the final attack here. Both sides have wavering units, but more Wild Riders are coming in, and they're the ones with a fantastic charge. So you can see now War has been procced, but he's lost most of his men now. So those Orc Biggins aren't going to be able to get that huge melee attack, benefit, because they're not in the fight anymore. So that's a real shame. War was procced just a little bit too late, and that's all it took. All of that. I mean, it was a lot, to be honest. All the cycle charging. It was a crazy match. So a few mistakes by both sides, I think. So the archers would have been really useful to keep alive, to keep online for a lot longer, and that could have been done just by keeping, a unit of Orc Biggins behind. That could have screened out a lot of the cavalry, made it far more dangerous to charge. So that would have been really good. Obviously, you could have focused them down with the Hagbane tips, stuff like that, whittle them down and then charge in, but that would have taken time, and that's more time that the archers could have been firing, into the War Dancers, which, as you can see, 149 kills, that's something you want to kill quickly. So I think it's definitely worth focusing on the War Dancers first, because one unit of War Dancers is going to do more damage than one Treeman, if they're both at full health. Just, over the course of a battle. The War Dancers, if they're healthy, will do more damage. So you want to take them out first, because they're the easiest to kill, right? So aim for them first. That would have been huge. That would have really been bad for the Wood Elves to lose them early. And, with so many archers, just have one of these units on each of them, and they're going to get killed twice as quickly in the front line engagement. I mean, they went down pretty quickly anyway, but you can still, you still see 149 kills. 75, 73, those are a lot, considering how quickly they got broken, So you really want to kill them quickly. So also, it would have left him with a couple of units spare to shoot at whatever else, right? So that would probably be sort of shooting at the Hagbane tips, or the Wild Riders, or the Sister Thorn, anything that was probing. So all it would have taken is probably one unit of Biggins, just screening, for cavalry. And I don't think the frontline engagement would have gone any differently. If anything, it would have been easier if he was able to utilise his Night Goblin archers. So, that's something to consider. Like, if you're going to bring a lot of archers, you need to keep them alive, or else you're just wasting money. I mean, they did a lot of damage to the Treeman, but frankly, Grimgor could have handled that. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, pretty crazy, though, the amount of archers. But yeah, you've got to protect them. Especially with such a wide line, you could. So, that would have really helped. But also, the Wood Elves, MrTuc here, he didn't get his cavalry in into the back line quick enough. The Wild Riders were just hanging out right at the back, right up until the front line engagement happened. You want to get in position before that happens, so the moment those two clash, you can charge into the back line, knowing that all of the melee units are busy. So that's what you want to do. Or, if they are going to peel off guys to try and deal with your cavalry, they're going to have to peel off so many to deal with 4 units. While they're chasing 1 unit, the other 3 can charge in and deal with something else. You want to get them in position early. So, yeah, a few things to consider. Also, got to keep Orion close to the engagement, even if you don't want him fighting. Or, if you don't want him fighting anything big, send him up to, any old rubbish, because you will just deal with him so quickly. He could have just charged him into Biggins and things in some of those engagements, and they would have broken. They would have got terrified away, and then you can just, go back to standing around and being terrifying. But yeah, Orion could have been used more actively. He could have played a more active role, even when he wasn't fighting. Because that terror, that is huge. And the leadership buff, encouraging his units nearby, that is really good to have. So, those two things, you've got to be close to the engagement. So, yeah, don't stray too far if you want to give him some respite. So that's a big tip, I think, for Orion. You've got to make sure you make the best use out of him. But yeah, guys, honestly, this is a crazy close match. And, really hard fought by both sides. Just constantly, bringing back reinforcements, trying to stop them from doing that. It was mad. So, absolutely love this replay. And, guys, if anyone else wants to send in some replays, my email address is in the comments. It's JanetOnOccasion@gmail.com. Yeah, if you've got some good replays, feel free to send them in. Because I do want to start showcasing more community stuff. It'll probably be in addition to my daily battle replays, which hopefully I will start doing again soon, once I get over this horrible cold. I mean, you can probably tell my voice is a bit like hoarse right now. So, yeah, talking this long, it's getting quite difficult. So, yeah, That will be happening again soon, once I'm over this nonsense. So daily battle replays, and also the occasional community replay. And yeah, and I think that'll be nice, right? You know, you can all get involved with the channel. So if you've got anything to send in, please do. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.